Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. In today's video, we're going to be very briefly going over how to use Tabletop Simulator. This is by no means a complete tutorial on how to use all the many awesome tools that Tabletop Simulator has. I myself am not a very experienced Tabletop Simulator player, but I do have a good grasp of the basics, and I wanted to share a couple things for you, so that way, especially if you've never used it before, you can grasp those basic concepts at least enough that you can get in and play a game of Sourcebound with your friends. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. First off, when you load into Tabletop Simulator for the Sourcebound mod, you will come to a page that looks like this. We have, a couple different decks set up. We've got all the starter decks over here. We've got the theme decks over here, some dice and coins, and then some references. First thing we're going to be going over is, choosing your deck. Say you want to play with the white starter deck. In order to move the entire deck, you'll have to click and hold until the whole thing pops up, and then you can move it where you want to place it. From here, most of the options that we'll be doing with our cards are going to be done by right-clicking on the option. We can come over to the deck, we can shuffle it a bunch of times, get it nice and random. When you present it to your opponent, you can have them cut the deck, and they can choose how many cards they wish to cut. And then you can also use it to then draw cards into your hand, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, getting your starting hand of cards. So those cards will be here in front of you. Next up, we're also going to be looking at, playing cards, rotating them, flipping them, all those actions you're going to have to do during the game. So with those cards in your hands, you can then choose a card to play. Let's use this Blessed Weapon here. We can drag it out of our hand onto the table, place it where we want to, right click, rotate it 2 times, and now it is a source. Sometimes these cards, when they're in your hand or on the table, are quite small, so you can press the Alt button in order to get a blown up version of it where you can easily read it. You can also do this on your opponent's cards, so that way you know what they're playing. Additionally, you can do that with cards that are in your hand as well to be able to look at them. With these basic actions, that's going to be most of what you do in a game of Sourcebound. You'll be playing cards out, playing sources, making sure that they're rotated. When you go to exert a card, you can rotate it 1 time, and then at the beginning of your turn, you just rotate it back to the start. When you're declaring things to be attackers and blockers, you just move them into their respective places. As things get destroyed, you put them into the discard pile. One thing to keep in mind when trying to stack cards on top of each other is you want to put it together. You got to get it right on top so they combine, and you'll see them combine together, knowing that they're grouped in that spot there. A couple other things that you might need to do, like if you need to search your deck for a specific card, there is the option to search, where you can either look at the top 3 cards in your deck if the card tells you a certain amount, or if you want to, you can also just search the whole thing by clicking on it. You can look through all of them. You can be typing it up in here, searching for a specific title or whatnot. And then, of course, afterwards, you would just reshuffle the deck again. Last couple things, we do have these resources here off to the side, which again, you can either look at them by pressing the Alt key, allowing you to read through them if it's just a reference. For this larger rule book here, you can right click and either go to a page or click pop out, where it pops out, and then you can scroll through the different pages here. And with that, that's most of what you need in order to play. We do have dice here. You can keep track of your life total, although sometimes it's easier just to do that on like a piece of paper in front of you. You can take the coin and I guess roll it in order to flip it to know which side you're going to get. Same thing with the dice. You can either roll them to get a certain amount, or you can turn it to a specific value in order to, say, place it on a card. And really, those are the basic actions you need in order to play a game of Sourcebound. Let us know how you guys like the game. Let us know if you got any questions or issues about it. Again, this is not an all-inclusive tutorial. There are much better tabletop simulator tutorials out there, but this should show you the basics. That way you can test out this game for yourself and see if it's something that you're interested in. Thanks for watching. Happy playing.